Purdue University All-American Marching Band, WRTV.
The sound of college basketball from the middle of the country. The 1980s sound, an almost overwhelming crescendo. As Mackey Arena at Purdue University in West Lafayette, Indiana, is packed to the rafters for today's matchup between the defending champion Louisville Cardinals and number 6 ranked Purdue. ABC Sports presenting college basketball, and today's game brought to you by Mitsubishi Motors. Experience the sensation of the full line of new cars and trucks from Mitsubishi. And by Sure Antiperspirant. Raise it higher. New Sure Aerosol is drier. Hello again, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson, along with Dick Vitale, as we get ready for a ball game between Louisville and Purdue.
Well, you talk, Keith, when you look at Louisville, they got to get dominant play from Ellison on the interior. On the other side, Purdue has got to rattle the Louisville backcourt. 18 turnovers or more by Louisville. Louisville goes back home to Louisville with a big L.
Could be a very important ball game in this season for the Louisville Cardinals, and the Cardinals start with Kimbrough, Crook at forward, Ellison center, Walls, Hawley in the backcourt. On the front line for Purdue, Doug Lee, Todd Mitchell. The man in the middle is Big Mel McCants, and the backcourt is Stevens and Lewis. Troy Lewis is the leading scorer, but the Louisville Cardinals come away with the basketball on the first tip, and the game is on. Walls handling it for Louisville. Herbert Crook, number 41, inside. The pass goes to Kimbrough. Missed it. Rebound. Ellison doesn't handle it. Walls comes down with it. Now the Cardinals are trying to set it up. And a whistle, and traveling by Hawley turns it over to Purdue.
He's a definite walk-in violation. He lifted the pivot foot. This environment here is one of the wackiest in college basketball. Ranks with the Carrier Dome and also with Duke's Cameron Indoor Stadium.
Now we're going to watch one of the top backcourt combinations in the country. Number 21, Everett Stevens. Number 23, that is Troy Lewis. Stevens very quick. Doug Lee is the blue-collar guy of this team. The shot on the baseline by Lewis is no good.
Keith, they really have excellent shot selection and tremendous balance when you look at Purdue, where Louisville is primarily a baseline team.
Walls misses off the back iron. Rebound. Doug Lee came here from Texas A&M. Break goes to Todd Mitchell. Rolls off. Both teams cold. Mitchell rebounds it.
He has the chance to be a star. Great versatility. He has to realize that he has star potential.
The officials stop it as they move it down court. Some debris had rolled out onto the court. The officials are Jim Bain, Big Ten, Mike Jack, Metro, and John Clockerty, Metro Conference.
The real mismatch should be the backcourt. You look at the M&M backcourt as we look at Denny Crum right now, one of the Rolls-Royce coaches in America. Check that record out. In the 1980s, he's been superb. 4 Final Fours, 2 national championships.
The guy, the key to this ball club, number 15, Walls, coming off knee surgery, has not regained his quickness and speed. Louisville turns it over for the second time in the ball game.
That's been their problem all year long, Keith. They really have a lack of real confidence in the backcourt and do not play the game the way Louisville has played it in the past with great balance.
Todd Mitchell handling the ball, top of the key, inside. Ball handled by Lewis, the big guy. Mitchell goes to the baseline, but Lee puts it up outside. 3 points for Doug Lee.
Doug Lee's got great range as a shooter. He's also a very scrappy player. They utilize the three-point play where Louisville does not utilize it in its arsenal.
Lee 15 out of 44 on the season. It is Herbert Crook at the baseline. Cut off. Ellison into the paint. Puts it up and gets 2. Louisville is finally on the board.
It's time for Never Nervous to start to get nervous, Keith. He was so cool and such a dominant player last year when they won the national championship.
Pass thrown away. Trying to get it to a breaking Lewis inside. Couldn't reach it. Turnover, Purdue.
The big question around West Lafayette, are they looking ahead to playing the Iowa Hawkeyes, who will come in here tomorrow night as the #1 team in the nation?
Herbert Crook muscles his way in, puts it up and hits it, and it's 5-4 Purdue now. Crook averaging just over 15 points per game on the season, a 49% shooter from the field. The 3-point circumstance for the Louisville Cardinals is almost pathetic, though. They just simply haven't gone for the 3-pointer.
They don't utilize it at all because they lack a perimeter game. Walls and Hawley between them do not even average 10 points a game. That puts a lot of pressure on your front court.
But these two guys, Lewis, number 23 with the ball, driving. He has 39. Right here.
He's got a great touch. They really play well together, Lewis and Stevens, both offensively and defensively.
Kimbrough handles in front, Hawley and Walls out there. You'll note that Walls is still wearing the brace on the right knee, the one that he had the surgery on. Hawley inside, true freshman. Crook, tough guy. I like the way he plays basketball. He played it gut tough in the tournament last year for Louisville. He goes up and pops one.
He's one of Rip Van Winkles in basketball, Keith. He's a kid that doesn't have a lot of national recognition. We watch right now as you're going to see the entry down inside. There's the good post-up ability by Crook. Great hands. Now he spins to the lane. Defensive player tries to body up on him, but he gets off the release of the jumper. Excellent play by Crook in the post.
Doug Lee getting the foul. Crook working at the free throw line with his second shot. It's a 7-6, 7-7 ball game. We're all even at 7 with 17:08 to play in the first half.
Louisville normally goes to a 2-2-1 press that was utilized by John Wooden, certainly from a protege of Wooden, but they're not going to it today.
Doug Lee, top of the night, and brilliant pass inside to Mitchell. Slam dunk.
Slam jam bam by Mr. Mitchell on a great high-low entry. I really like Purdue. I think they got the best starting 5 in the nation, Keith.
And Louisville answers as Ellison pops it down. Coming back down the court, and we're at 9, 16 and a half to go. Lewis in the corner, out on top is Stevens. He will penetrate. He'll go to the hoop. This time he bounce passes into Mel McCants, and McCants is fouled by Ellison.
McCants is a real space eater. Came out of high school in Chicago, tries to get good post position. There's the drive by Stevens. He's hanging in the air. That's a no-no. He's off his ground. He drives it into McCants. Now he seals off the defensive player, seals them off, so Ellison reaches over the top and is charged with the foul. Mr. Intensity. I'll tell you what, he's to intensity what Irvin Berlin is to music.
Lost 10 pounds, did McCants. Came in with baby fat. He laughingly said he peeled 10 of it off. Get into the weight program as a sophomore. He's leaner. And once he gets over the back strain and spasms, he didn't play against Minnesota last Wednesday. He could be a real toughie in the Big Ten.
He gives him a post player. Not many people have a post player as he threw up 2 bricks right there. A candidate for my all-bricklayer team throwing those 2 bricks up.
Walls can't go inside. Pass comes down to Ellison. They go right back to it. Look at McCants. We move him around and coming down inside. And getting it is Tony Kimbrough.
They really live off the glass. Their great game is offensive rebounding. That's vintage Louisville basketball.
11-9. Louisville has gone to the lead by 2. The ball is kicked back out of bounds in the backcourt. And a timeout is at hand with 15 minutes and 54 seconds to play in the first half. And Louisville leading Purdue 11-9.
To America's best as they look to Australia and the America's Cup Challenge.
This much for all that you do. You've got the stuff to come through a long way from home. But you're not alone. It's your country's home. It's all staying with you. You make America work, and this fight's for you.
No battery has the energy to outrun the Energizer, even in a photo flash. No battery outruns the Energizer.
Should you ever drive from Paris to Dakar, we'd suggest a Mitsubishi Montero. Montero's won the Paris to Dakar rally 4 years straight, so it knows the shortcuts. But should you stay closer to home, you can still enjoy Montero's 2.6 liters, the independence of four-wheel drive, and the crafting of its civilized interior. Because you don't need a road rally to enjoy Montero, just an impulsive imagination. Mitsubishi.
There's never any time for us, no time left in a day. We're both so close and yet so far. We've got to get away.
Let American Airlines special low fares take you away with someone special.
Without a single care. We're American Airlines, something special in the air.
Louisville's basketball, they're into the court. They lead by 2, 15:54 to go. First half, playing at Purdue, West Lafayette. And the Cardinals putting it in play. Comes into Hawley. Checking the lineups, they're the same. As Hawley, a true freshman, works it around in front. Walls, Kimbrough, inside the big man, Ellison. Kimbrough goes up and hits his second basket.
He's an important player, Keith. He's become much more comfortable along the baseline. Earlier this year, he was starting in the backcourt, and he was turning the ball over a great deal.
Cardinal trap, get the ball. Ellison broke free, but they couldn't control it and get it to him.
That's the UCLA pressure. They go to a 2-2-1 press.
Ellison loses the ball. McCants taking it away from him. And here comes Purdue back down the court, trailing by 4. The shot is up and off. No. And the rebound, Herbert Crook, tough guy.
He's a destroyer on a glass. Very aggressive. Ellison came to play today, too.
Kimbrough has 3 baskets.
That's where he belongs, Keith. He's a baseline performer. Here's their pressure. They invert. They use their big people up front in a 2-2-1.
Purdue having a little trouble as Louisville comes up with the ball. Hawley, and the ball is slammed against the backboard. And what do you call goaltending?
Gene Katie needs a TO, a timeout to settle his club down against the pressure. They're not posting anybody to the lane. Look at that intensity. Former football player, one of your favorite kind of guys.
Keith Williams comes into the ball game now. The press is bothering Purdue. They're having a little trouble moving it. They got it in the hands of the right man this time, Everett Stevens. He's the blade for them. He gets it through the traffic. Inside. Todd Mitchell is fouled hard by Herbert Crook.
Keith, the last 2 days, they've been working against Iowa's full court trapping pressure, really preparing for Iowa. Yesterday, they went over a little bit against Louisville's pressure. Louisville's pressure is a little different than Iowa.
Mark McSwain, a senior from Atlanta, is in the lineup now for the Louisville Cardinals, and he too has been gaining as the games have gone by. The Cardinals coming in with a record of 8-7. Mitchell makes the first free throw.
He's certainly, as far as I'm concerned, one of the most improved players in America last year. Mitchell, along with Joe Wolf. Both Joe Wolf of North Carolina and Mitchell are very versatile performers.
Makes a pair. Total 6 points for Todd Mitchell. At 14.5 to go, first half, 17-11 lead Louisville. And Purdue now goes to a full court press and steal the ball. McCants with his second steal of the game.
Great decision by the coach to go to a pressure. When a club's bothering you with pressure, you return to favor.
Lewis.
Count it. He's pure. He can shoot it.
4 points for Troy Lewis. And Keith Williams now, a freshman, bringing it up for Louisville. 4 freshmen and 5 sophomores on Denny Crum's lineup. On the traveling squad, this is Purvis Ellison, long, tall, graceful man. McSwain has it partially blocked, picked out of the air by Stevens. Pulls up. And it won't go down for the Boilermakers. And finally controlled by McSwain.
The tempo right now is getting a little bit out of hand, but I like the tempo as far as Purdue. Purdue would like to play at a faster pace than Louisville.
Ellison. And the Louisville Cardinals lead by 6, 19-13.
He's been up and down all year, Keith. They need a dominating game from Ellison, and he looks like he's responding right now to the challenge.
Almost over and back, but they get it in front court. Take it inside. Lewis can't get it down. No foul call as Lewis and Ellison both went down, and Louisville comes out of there with it. Keith Williams up court. Herbert Crook inside McSwain. Tangled up, and he is fouled. And the foul is on Todd Mitchell.
McSwain's an enforcer. Came off the bench last year. Gave him a great sixth man. He rotated, gave him a positive player off the bench. They like to run a high-low. They dump it down inside to their horses. Look at the great hands. Now he takes it up with tremendous strength. He's going to take it. He says, get out of my way. You can't handle me inside, fellas. And goes to the foul line.
McSwain at the line, changes in the lineup for Purdue. Number 43, Jeff Arnold, has come in. He's the big guy who played all of the game last week, most of the game anyway, in the absence of McCants. Arnold at 6'9", 230 pounds. Also in is Kip Jones at 6'8" and 215.
They have to get some bench play. They need play from Jones and Arnold and a point guard to back up Everett Stevens. They're counting on Tony Jones, the freshman, to give him some positive play at the point position.
Also into the lineup for the Louisville Cardinal is number 50, the big guy, and he's the biggest man in this town, Felton Spencer at 7'1", 260. Shot is up from outside, and it misses. Rebound goes back, however, to the Boilermakers, and Lewis holds it.
Lee will look for the three-point play, and so will Lewis and Stevens.
It's Lee handling it right now. And the shot up out of the corner by Lewis. It is not good, and the foul is called on Mike Abram, who is in the lineup now for the Louisville Cardinal.
Denny Crum, as we take a look at him, to me, has to be one of the 5 premier coaches in the nation, along with the General Bob Knight, with Michelangelo, Dean Smith. You'd have to talk about Eddie Sutton, and he was blown away today. And, of course, John Thompson, the heavyweight champ from Georgetown.
Number 25, Tony Jones, has come in now, a freshman out of Fort Wayne, and he's one of the really key players of the future for Purdue.
He's a great athlete, runs the 400 meters, an outstanding runner. As we look at Stevens, who I believe is the irreplaceable part in his team. When they were blown away by North Carolina, Keith, he got his 3rd foul, Stevens, and when he got the 3rd foul, Kenny Smith and company with North Carolina just blew him out of the gate.
A pair of free throws for Troy Lewis. And the score is 21-15. Louisville leading by 6. Time remaining first half, 12:42. And Keith Williams, they trap him in the corner, but he gets it away to McSwain. McSwain doesn't want to get into a situation where he could be trapped. Finally delivers to Abrams. Abrams takes it in and comes off the glass. No good, and a foul. And I think the big guy, number 50, is going to get whistled for it. Felton Spencer. They were telling me yesterday that during the preseason workout, Spencer at 7'1", 260, people were running into him and falling on the floor with bruises and Charlie horses. He takes up a half an acre.
I was telling you yesterday, Keith, at practice, he has 2 great factors why he's going to be an outstanding player. One, you can't teach size, and number 2, work ethic. And plus, he's also a very intelligent individual.
This is Lewis.
Oh, he's sweet. He's string music. He can shoot the rock. He's got great touch and balance on his shot.
Has 8 points in the ball game. It's 21-17 now. Purdue battling back. They trail by 4. And they almost tie up McSwain. And now you got a foul called on Jeff Arnold, the center, number 43, out of El Toro, California.
Crowd wanted to walk in violation, but he never lifted his pivot foot. Denny Crum has a very simple philosophy of coaching as we watch the ball right here. Let's see if he lifts his pivot foot. He doesn't. Well, I'll tell you, maybe a little dancing music, a little shuffle, a little disco move. I'm going to get over to that theory of Denny Crum a little bit later.
Inside to Spencer. He's 7'1", remember, and he's very agile. Out in front, it is Kimbrough handling the ball. Then he breaks through, but Crook has no place to go with him. And now Kevin Walls has got to handle the ball for him, playing that point position. Being closely checked by Tony Jones. Kimbrough working out in front now because of his previous experience with guard play. And he caught Spencer leaning one way and delivered the ball the other.
Very poor execution in a half-court game.
Timeout call. Turnovers now. Louisville 5, Purdue 4. 21-17, Cardinals lead.
Mom, send $500 $100 soon? Or there won't be a honeymoon?
I'm calling about your son, Jerome. Better send money. He wants to go home.
早く送ってくれないか。スピード違反でパクられた。
To send someone money fast, come to Western Union. We'll make sure it gets to any of our 10,000 locations, usually in 15 minutes or less.
Sayonara.
Western Union, the fastest way to send money.
Everybody needs a Yugo sometime.
I bought my Yugo because now I can afford a brand new car.
I think it's fun to drive, and it beats my old carpool.
I like the rack and pinion steering and the front-wheel drive.
We wanted a dependable second car.
And this Yugo's just what we need.
The 87 Yugo GB is still only $39.90. Call 1-800-USA-YUGO for the dealer nearest you.
Everybody needs a Yugo sometime.
Hello, Dallas?
Well, hi, Chicago.
Sounds a little crazy, but we wanted to see if the new fiber optic phone line and the system being built by U.S. Sprint really were so incredibly quiet that you could actually hear a pin drop.
Got it? Loud and clear. That was a pin?
So call now, find out more, and save with U.S. Sprint, where every fiber optic call sounds like you're right next door.
David Robinson leads the midshipmen against Kentucky on ABC's college basketball next Sunday.
Is it the kind of a pace that you expected?
Keith, when we look at them right now, I can't believe that Louisville can continue at this pace and be able to beat Purdue with a baseline. They're getting no execution in their backcourt, and they're winning because of a great effort up front by guys like Kimbrough and Ellison. I think ultimately, Purdue's balance will prevail.
All right, Tony Jones brings it up for the Boilermakers at the point guard position, gives to Lee. Lee coming off the screen, missed the shot off the front of the iron. The rebound to Lewis. Lewis back to give. Count it, he got it.
He's a rhythm shooter, and when he's in a rhythm, I had him here against Michigan. He was electrifying.
All right, it's Walls, it's Kimbrough, it's McSwain. And Purdue now putting the defensive pressure on. This is a tough physical team. The Big Ten is a tough physical conference.
The best conference in America this year, Keith.
And the folks at Indiana, you pick a place, they know their game, and they love their game, and pop! McSwain gets his first basket of the ball game.
That's the kind of shot they have to have, a wing jump shot to open up passing lanes to their big people.
Doug Lee being checked now by Crook. Inside, they take it. Shot missed by Arnold, and Purdue kicks it back outside, and Troy Lewis is one of the boldest 6'4" guys around. He goes right into the trees and takes it right up among them.
Keith, he doesn't have great innovative ability off the dribble move, but he's an excellent rhythm shooter. Here he is in an isolation one-on-one. He takes it right at the big guys, and McSwain comes over and says, hey, I'll turn you into a crowd if you try to come into this lane.
And he did. Everett Stevens is back into the ball game now. Over to Jones. Jones short this time, and it's off Walls. But he gets a favorable call. I guess he pulled his hand back. So I guess Kevin Walls did not touch it. Now you've got Stevens working in the backcourt with Jones. As Herbert Crook puts it up. It's off the front of the iron, not good. Here comes Purdue. 3 on 4 on 1.
Oh, slam, damn, bam, Gypsy Doo, Dunkaroo, Mr. Mitchell.
Mitchell now 8 points in the ball game, and the Boilermakers are pulled within 2, 23-21.
Excellent transition basketball, Keith. They ran the 45-degree angle.
Kimbrough,
they're on their way. Here they go.
Intercepted for a moment, but Kimbrough couldn't come away with it. Only had it in his hands, and it just slid out of there.
Louisville likes to play a switching man-to-man defense. Notice how they switch on almost every move, every cut.
Kip Jones handles it and gives it away to Mitchell. If any problem bleeds, that is the purest and best kind of defense there is.
Yeah, he was telling us yesterday.
Jones tries to reverse it, can't get it to go. And Louisville has had the ball in their hands, but they can't control it. Shot
got nonchalant and lost his concentration. As we look at some of these wackos going bananas here. They're beautiful, though. I mean that in good taste.
That's 6 turnovers now for the Louisville Cardinals.
I wouldn't want him mad at me. Would you want him angry at you, Mr. Cady?
All right, Purdue off the turnover. We'll come back with it now. Lewis is back onto the floor. Mel McCants is going to come in a minute, too. As I think Gene Cady senses that perhaps his team might have a chance at a run. Take it inside. Kip Jones.
Indiana Jones was his reputation out of high school. He's a scrappy player. Very aggressive player. They're changing defensively now. They're going to a zone. So they have better rebounding inside. They're in a 2-3 zone.
And the score is tied at 23 with 8.5 minutes to go in the first half. Kimbrough has the rebound, and the foul is called on Jones, number 30.
Louis was so physical. I was talking earlier about a theory of Denny Crum, and it's very simple, his theory and philosophy. It's a simple formula that says talent plus effort equals W. Unfortunately, this year, Keith, it's been talent minus effort equals L. They have not played consistently with a great deal of intensity as we look at the field goal percentage. Purdue only shooting 42% and yet in great shape here.
Ball almost stolen by Jones from McSwain. As McCants has come back onto the floor to play center for Purdue against Fergus Ellison.
There are 4 things they try to do out of their defense. 1, pressure the ball. 2, deny it on a wing. 3, beat cutters. And 4, block out. They're a very good half-court defensive team, Purdue.
McSwain cut off by Kip Jones. Comes back to Walls. Walls at 15 seconds to go on the clock. Herbert Crook takes it back up, and he's fouled.
It's hard to believe that Kevin Walls was one of the most acclaimed high school scorers in America. He averaged better than 40 points a game in Camden, New Jersey. He is struggling on the floor. He is struggling. Take a look at him right here. He's off the dribble move. He loses a lot of confidence, I believe, because they've moved him to a point guard position as we see the foul on Crook. And he's been normally a big-time scorer in high school, and I don't believe he can make that adjustment to run a club as a leader.
First free throw is good by Herbert Crook. Coming back into the game now after a breather is Doug Lee, and the crowd appreciates the work by Kip Jones. Even though he picked up a couple of fouls, he asserted himself well.
Yeah, they got a positive play out of Jones off the bench. You like those aggressive guys. I know you like all those hitters.
I like the guys in the trenches. They win for you.
I could tell. I was watching you practice yesterday. You like those bangers.
All right, Everett Stevens brings him up. Walls picks him up at half court. Over the shoulder. Crook almost now. It's finally kicked out there. Picked up by Herbert Crook.
Oh, nice pass.
And it's 2.
Great pass. That's the way you attack 2-on-1. Stay a little bit wide of each other. Make that good entry. Give and go move. Ellison with a superb play.
8 points now for Herbert Crook. And the Cardinals back to the lead, 26-23.
Louisville's really turned on right now. They're playing with a lot of intensity here this afternoon.
Kimbrough tries for the steal. Doesn't work. Stevens comes away with the ball, and you've got a foul called on Purvis Ellison. That'll be his 2nd foul in the ball game.
In a great Alaska shootout when they lost to Northeastern, Washington, and Texas, he fouled out of all 3 games, Keith. And I thought a lot of it was due to the fact of a lack of concentration on the floor.
With 7 minutes and 13 seconds to play in the first half, the Louisville Cardinals lead the Purdue Boilermakers 26-23.
While some still believe you can't take it with you, those who've driven the new Mitsubishi wagon know just the opposite to be true. Now not only can you take it with you, but you can do so with a remarkable combination of style, spacious comfort, and versatility. The new Mitsubishi wagon, patiently crafted so you can take it all with you, or better yet, so you can leave it all behind. Mitsubishi.
Mrs. Kaskowski has a very sore throat.
It's hideous. It hurts to swallow. It's hot, raw.
Will fast-working chloroseptic spray bring her relief sooner than we can finish this commercial?
I doubt it.
Doctor-recommended chloroseptic goes to work right where the hurt is. Stops sore throat pain really fast. But will Mrs. Kaskowski really start to feel relief before we can finish this commercial? Well, Mrs. Kaskowski?
Raise your hand.
Hold it, America. You can raise it or you can raise it higher.
Raise it higher. Now you're drier. Now you're drier with new improved Sure.
New Formula Sure Aerosol. Stronger ingredients that go on drier and keep you drier, too.
You got confidence, America, even more than before. Raise it higher. Sure is drier for sure.
Mark it down. Next stop, the $175,000 Showboat Invitational on ABC's Professional Bowlers Tour, Saturday.
All right, defend yourself and protect your mailman.
Well, I'll tell you this, Keith. If I had to rate right now the top big men, power forwards and centers, I'd go Robinson #1, Norman #2, Manning 3, Smith 4, and McKee 5. I don't have Ellison in there. I believe these guys chart out, get an A from me for their performance up to midseason based on productivity, not on potential. And I'd have Ellison in the next group because he's been up and down like the Dow Jones stock market.
All right, Purdue plays it in. Doug Lee back on the court, as we told you.
Oh, what a great
pass inside to Mitchell. Foul, Kimbrough. And that'll be 16 fouls on Louisville.
That's exactly where they want Mitchell. They want Mitchell along the baseline to utilize his great strength and his power. But what made this play was the entry. The great vision. He looks right through the defense. There's Mitchell. He takes it up strong. Now, he had to be very careful. There was the foul by Kimbrough. But if he would have taken a step back into the defensive player, the foul would have been on Mitchell because he would have broken what is called the principle of verticality.
9 points now for Todd, the junior out of Toledo, Ohio. He has 1 personal foul.
His sister's a star in the television world as an anchor out in Detroit. Comes the full court pressure. Boy, I wouldn't want to be the Louisville front court. They really have a tough time getting the ball because the lack of a good perimeter game.
Well, you see that Kimbrough and Crook both came down to help. You got Keith Williams in the backcourt right now, along with Craig Hawley. That's 2 true freshmen.
Now they're in his zone defense, playing like a 2-3 matchup.
Ellison tries to go inside the Crook, and he just barely saves it on the baseline, but he has virtually no place to go with it.
Keith, a matchup means simply you play a man in the area of the floor as opposed to a zone where you just play the area.
Herbert Crook takes care of it, though, sliding around the back door and getting the basket to make it 28-25 Louisville.
He's an excellent inside player. He's a kid capable of a big night because he gets a lot of points off the garbage, an offensive rebound.
Troy Lewis, Doug Lee out in front. This is Mitchell. And Everett Stevens had gone all the way along the baseline, open for a flash, but they couldn't get the ball to him. They go back inside. Mitchell.
One of the oldest cuts in basketball. A simple give and go off their motion game. They're getting a lot of movement offensively. The rhythm right now and the execution's got to favor Purdue.
1-point lead for Louisville at 28-27. Across to Crook, inside Kimbrough. Missed the basket, foul McKenna.
That's become one of the most positive passes in attacking zone defenses. Throwing the ball right over the top of the zone defense and then dumping it down inside immediately. Watch this pass right over. Ellison looks right over the top of the defense. He throws the cross-court pass, and there's the touch pass by Crook down into Kimbrough, who's an excellent post-up player, and there's the foul.
Both teams now, 6 fouls. 5 remaining, 5:54 first half. 28-27 Louisville leads. On the line, Kimbrough makes the free throw.
You talked about it earlier, Keith. Psychologically, Louisville needs a big win to give them the adrenaline. They've come up short against all their big games with Indiana, DePaul, and Kentucky blew them away.
Rebound, Crook. Short off the front iron, and Herbert able to get it. And now Ellison, who had started to move into a defensive posture, comes back to help out. Keith Williams handling the ball. Goes to Kimbrough.
They rotate out of the zone into a man-to-man.
That's Crook at the baseline. Nothing doing on that one. Sergeant foul call. McCants was in position to block it anyway.
That was an excellent call by the official because that's the interpretation according to the rules book. He came back into the defensive player. You cannot come back. I have to disagree with the professor, Mr. Crum. Watch him right now come back into the defensive player. Now he's going to take it up. See this? As soon as he breaks that plane that the defensive player has established, the foul is on the offensive player.
Todd Mitchell is out for a breather, and Kip Jones back into the lineup for Purdue. They trail by 2 points, and they have the ball.
You and I were wondering, and I just wonder if it's just mentally in the back of their mind, knowing Iowa's here in West Lafayette in the game tomorrow night when they play the #1 team in the nation, the Iowa Hawkeyes.
You're assuming Iowa because UNLV was defeated by a point by Oklahoma at Norman yesterday. And there's the foul being whistled on Craig Hawley of the Cardinals.
Craig Hawley's dad played at Louisville. He's a complimentary player who's been forced to start, and he really would probably be much more comfortable if they had some guard play where he can rotate as a 3rd or 4th guard. But Denny Crum, as we look at him, has no other choice but to play Hawley.
7th team foul. They're in the bonus now. 1-1 coming up here for Doug Lee.
I was sitting in a hotel where you and I were staying, and they're all watching the game right now. And most likely they will be #1 in the AP poll. But I think the best team in America, don't get mad at me, Tom Davis and the Hawkeyes, I think it belongs to Dean Smith and Chapel Hill and North Carolina.
There may be a time in the future when you'll have a chance to find out. Of course, getting through the Big Ten right now is the biggest chore for all 10 of the members, particularly those in contending posture. This is Keith Williams bringing it down off the nest, 29-28, Louisville by a point. And Purvis Ellison showing his agility. Can't get it down. Crook hangs and puts it up. No, rebound brought out of there by Troy Lewis ahead to Everett Stevens. He'll take it in there.
He's a point guard who really has great scoring ability. He can be like a lead guard because he can score as well as penetrate.
Louisville. And a foul is whistled here. Louisville trailing now by a point as the Boilermakers going back into the lead on Everett Stevens' basket. Gene Cady there. I thought Cady's had an interesting comment yesterday when we were visiting with him when he said he wasn't sure that his ball club had played a tough enough schedule coming into the Big Ten to be adequately seasoned for the Big Ten.
I was teasing him about the fact that I thought they played a lot of cupcakes, but the greatest cupcake schedule in America was down at Clemson. They're undefeated. But I'll tell you one thing, Keith, you and I could have dressed up and beat some of the people that they beat. You said that, not me. I don't want to get in trouble.
All right. Out of the ball game now goes Tony Kimbrough, and back in comes Felton Spencer, the big fella.
If you can't neutralize Louisville's front court, you don't have a chance to really beat them. Their front court attacks the glass with vengeance, but they have no perimeter game at all.
Williams missing the free throws. And Everett Stevens, a good bounce pass inside Kip Jones, but he pumps it back out to Troy Lewis that spins out, and Stevens picked it up. Lewis one more. And over the back goes Kip Jones. That's 3 fouls on him.
Not a really heady play right there by Jones. He climbs the back of Ellison. No chance to rebound that ball at all.
All right, Kevin Walls comes back into the ball game for Louisville.
We saw Denny Crum talking to Keith Williams. He could be really the key player to Louisville. If he develops to give them some point guard play, they have a chance to become a good team at the end of the year, even though I don't believe there's any way that this team could stand tall in Bourbon Street down in New Orleans.
Williams is out, and Denny Crum stood there quite some time coaching him, if you will. Purvis Ellison is at the free throw line on the foul call. Doug Lee is outside. Ellison checking him. Mitchell is back in for Purdue.
Louisville's half-court. Louisville's half-court defense really stops you from reversing the ball by switching defensively.
Ellison.
Quick finesse player. They throw right over the top. Excellent inside play by Ellison.
8 points for Purvis. It's 31-30 as they exchange the lead on each basket right now. Lee loses control, and a whistle and a foul. Herbert Crook wants a hooking call against Kevin Lee, but he's not going to get it. The foul is on Kevin Walls.
There's Denny Crum. He's as cool as Johnny Carson's next hello to Joan Rivers. You talk about cool. This guy is cool.
Lee will go to the line. I have both teams at 8 team fouls now. So we are in the bonus when it is not a shooting foul, and this one was considered a shooting foul.
I really believe this is a big game, Keith. I'll tell you why. Not only because Louisville psychologically wants to beat a name team, a big-time top-5 team in America, but on the other side, I think Purdue psychologically has got to get a win here to be able to beat Iowa tomorrow night, even though it's on their home court, because mentally they will be down if they lose, especially 2 times playing big people, Carolina and Louisville, and losing would be tough for them to handle.
Purdue back to the lead by a point, 32-31. Time remaining, 3:38 in the first half.
Why is my antacid Tums? Tums is effective. It neutralizes 1/3 more stomach acid than the other leading brand. And Tums is rich in calcium. To me, that's extra good news.
No battery outruns the Energizer.
Welcome to the auto show.
We need an inexpensive,
dependable
first car. See the Yugo.
I need a tough little car.
See the Yugo. We need a safe,
economical
second car. Oh, see the Yugo.
For most of the reasons you need a car, the Yugo is all the car you need.
Wow, $39.90.
That's right. The 87 Yugo GV is still only $39.90. Everybody needs a Yugo sometime. Yugo, $39.90.
This is an AT&T long-distance command center where our engineers make sure your calls go right through. It's a unique system only AT&T can bring you, with thousands of ways to get from here to there. And there are 7 more centers like it, because we're not about to take chances that busy circuits could keep you waiting.
Well, she definitely has my hair.
For over 100 years, when you reached out, we were there. And you can keep it that way. AT&T, the right choice.
A memory from the colorful history of Purdue basketball. February 28, 1970, Rick Mount set a single-game scoring record, 61 points, as the Boilers lost to Iowa 108-107. Reviewing the film, if the three-point rule had existed then, Mount would have totaled 74 points. The field goal percentage favors Louisville, primarily because the Cardinals have had their shots inside close. On the offensive rebounds now, look at this.
Well, Purdue out-rebounded by 1, and that's a surprise as we look at Gene Cady, a former football player with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's a rising star and coach, and Keith, he has a chance to get the kind of visibility this year if they can go to the Final Four, where he could join some of the giants in coaching. But right now, he hasn't had that great national visibility, and now it's his chance to star and to become a star and say, move over Bob Knight and Digger Phelps in Indiana, and I'm a star too.
They might even open the roads between South Bend and West Lafayette.
Yeah, Gene said that the Digger said there are no roads from South Bend to West Lafayette. Come on, Digger, play Purdue.
32-31, Boilers lead the Cardinals. Louisville's ball. Back court.
Full court pressure. They're going to trap. As soon as the ball gets in the wing, they'll look to trap.
You don't want Felton Spencer standing in the corner like that, holding the ball too long, or they'll eat him up.
Louisville did a good job to take it away from any potential trap by bringing the ball back to the middle.
All right, Kevin Walls calls the play out in front. Inside, it's Ellison, Spencer, and Crook. They've got Abrams over on the wing. He, in effect, is at a guard spot now with Walls as they go inside too high. And you've got a whistle and a foul called on Jeff Arnold of Purdue.
Kevin Walls was a 40-point scorer in high school. He's got to think a little bit of shooting the ball from the perimeter. He can't just become a player that's looking pass, because the defense is key. That becomes 5 against 4. They don't even have to check him. They say, hey, we don't have any respect. He's not even thinking of shooting.
Allison 0 for 1 at the free throw line. 2 personal fouls on Arnold. 32-31. Even now at 32, 3:13 to play first half.
He's from out of Savannah, Georgia. He broke the heart of Bobby Cremins, the coach at Georgia Tech. Cremins thought he had a great shot to have Ellison join Tom Hammonds, who was one of America's premier freshmen last year.
Off the front iron, comes back outside. Ellison couldn't get to it. Purdue controls it. This is Stevens.
If I were Gene Cady, I think I'm in good shape if we're shooting 40% and we're playing even with them and not even playing well.
Lewis to the baseline. Mitchell had it slapped back in his face, but he controls it. Gives it to Lee. It's off Lee's finger. Saved by Stevens. Lewis inside, and a whistle.
Nice play by Everett Stevens. Came out of Evanston High School where they lost in the state championship to Simeon in Chicago by 1 point, and they had a great player at Simeon by the name of Ben Wilson, the late Ben Wilson, who was considered to be America's premier high school player.
Second foul on Spencer. It looks to me like Purvis Ellison has hurt his left hand. He walked over to the official and said something to him, and went over. The trainer looked at him. Now he's coming back.
He's a dominant kind of player. I hope he doesn't leave college. There's some rumors that he might think of leaving.
Ellison?
Yeah, he's not ready for it. He's not physical enough. He's not mature enough for that kind of league, and he needs another year or two on a collegiate level.
Lewis makes the free throw. He's 3 for 3 at the line. Well, I think some people ought to take a look at Chris Washburn's circumstance. He went too soon, I thought, and he's disappeared.
That's a good analogy. That's one of the saddest stories. Washburn made a statement. Hey, it's like a job. Something should be like a job for $700,000 a year.
Spencer almost watched it go in the backcourt, but just saves it. And now Kevin Walls comes out in front trying to restore some order to Louisville's half-court offense. And it has not been very orderly.
They don't even guard Walls. Watch this right here. Walls plays at the top. They don't even guard him. They don't even respect him. Come on, Kevin, you can shoot the ball. I can't believe a kid who averaged over 40 points a game can't shoot it.
That's a tough shot. Rebounded up, however, by Ellison.
That's a big-time rebounder. That's a BT-er. That's a big-time rebound by Ellison.
Louisville back to the lead by a point, 34-33. Ellison now with 11 points. And we're just inside 2 minutes to go in the first half. Three-point try, partially deflected. Ellison was out in front, but they couldn't get the ball to him.
See Louisville dominating on the front court, and that's where they get all their productivity. 2-3 zone right now. You got to get in the gaps of it. Walls has got to drive the ball into the seam of that zone.
He bounces the ball once and looks back in front. Now he's got a shot at the top of the key and didn't take it there. All alone, nobody around him. This is Ellison out of the corner. And the rebound for Todd Mitchell. Stevens, short.
That was an old running one-hander, a la Bob Cousy to
Abrams out in front.
Good transition play by Louisville. Abram with a good, strong move. Sealed the defensive player off with his body.
Mike Abram, a junior from Muncie, Indiana, gets his first 2 points of the ball game for Louisville. And the Cardinals lead by 3, 36-33. The tough guy, Doug Lee, takes it inside, and a blocking foul is called on Purvis Ellison. That's 3 personal fouls.
That's been his problem, one of the real problems for Louisville. Ellison getting in foul trouble. I happen to be a big Ellison fan, too. I mean, I like his mobility and quickness. What I'd have to see out of... Look at that head fake. He freezes the defensive player. There's Ellison coming over. Well, I don't know about that blocking call by Jim Bain. I'm not sure about that one.
Neither is Denny Crum.
Remember, defensively, a defensive player must have both feet planted. Both feet must be planted. Let's take a look. If he's in good defensive position, both feet are planted. No, they are not planted. Good ball, good angle, good work by our camera people. Excellent call, and Mr. Ellison goes to the side with number 3.
Tony Jones is back in the lineup. Doug Lee at the free throw line.
He should definitely be one of the top 2 or 3 big people in America. In all fairness to Ellison, not playing with a legitimate backcourt, not playing in a situation where he's been healthy. He's had an ankle problem most of the year. So I guess got to give him a little benefit of the doubt.
You're not going to tell me at this point he's going to go in the NBA and play center.
No, he's not ready for that.
No way.
He's a forward more than he is a center.
Doug Lee, 5 out of 6 from the free throw line. And Purdue closes to within 1 now with 51 seconds to play. And Abram
great pass. One of the great assets of Jabbar. He's an excellent passer in the post. Spencer Lee.
Three-pointer.
That gets you back quick, Keith.
Purdue 2 for 6 in three-point shooting. Turnover.
Kevin Walls is not the answer at that point. They're trying to give him PT, playing time. They're trying to give him QT, quality time. But he's not really accepting it and delivering like they expect out of Kevin Walls.
Time running out first half. 10 seconds. Everett Stevens at 10 seconds puts it up. And 2 points that time. And Purdue has the lead, 40 to 38. Louisville, Abram, no. And the half is over. And Purdue grabs the lead by 2 at halftime, 40 to 38. ABC's college basketball will return after this commercial and a message from our local station.
Fans, please.
Mr. Garfield, welcome to Embassy Suites Hotel.
My room.
Oh, all our rooms are really two-room suites for the price of a single room.
Beautiful. Don't change a thing.
The living room, sir.
Love what you've done with this room.
The bedroom.
This is great. I need my space.
And of course, you'll want to take advantage of Embassy Suites free breakfast.
Food.
Served every morning.
At Embassy Suites, you don't have to be a fat cat to enjoy the sweet life.
I resemble that remark.
Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch. I love it, it's so scrumptious. Love that chocolate when it crunches. Crunches. Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch.
Why you bothering me, boy? Are you crazy?
I'm a chicken hawk and you're a chicken. Are you coming quietly or do I have to mush you up?
You're going at it all wrong, son. You gotta go to Kentucky Fried Chicken if you want to catch America's favorite chicken. It's a great place to get a great meal. No one makes tender, juicy chicken like the Colonel. It's finger-licking good. Here, son, let me give you a lift.
We do chicken right.
Call it bizarre.
When are you going to tell me what's really going on?
I'll tell you when the time comes.
Who is this David? What do you know about him? Not much, but I trust him.
Dare to say it never happened.
You're talking about upsetting everything mankind believes in and replacing it with something outrageous. It's metaphysical Twilight Zone mumbo-jumbo.
A true story so unusual, you'll have to see it to believe it.
Are these UFOs?
Shirley MacLaine goes out on a limb tonight.
You'll find more for less at the end of the rainbow if you act now. Compare these inventory reduction specials. Bob Powers Toyota has new Toyota trucks from $63.90.
Compare.
FX16 or 4x4 trucks from $89.90.
Compare.
Corolla starting at $81.78. Bob Powers Toyota's entire inventory must go. We beat the property tax deadline. You beat the bottom line.
Toyota feeling and the Bob Powers touch.
Q95 and WRTV6 take the wraps off the Walt Disney World 15th birthday bash. And cruise. Hi, I'm Bob. And I'm Tom, and here's what you can win. A trip for 4 to the Walt Disney World 15th birthday party. Plus a 5-star cruise to the Bahamas on Premier Cruise Lines, the official cruise line of Walt Disney World. You'll fly Florida Express to Orlando and stay at the Walt Disney World Resort. Listen to win on Q95 and WRTV6 for 15th birthday bash details. Wow! Talk about crashing a party!
Some heavy snow possible. The forecast at 6.
We're at halftime in West Lafayette, Indiana. Purdue leading Louisville 40 to 38. And a ball game, I think it is fair to say. We'll talk some more with Dick Vitale about the first half in a little while. But right now, let's introduce the newest member of ABC's sports staff, Cheryl Miller. All the honors possible for a woman in basketball, including a gold medal in the 1984 Olympics. A conversation between Cheryl Miller and Denny Crum, starting with the comment that his team might have been overrated to start the year.
Michelle, I said when the season started we were way overrated. We lost 3 senior starters, and we didn't have anyone in their class to replace them with. And we have some good young athletes, good players, but they're not near as good as Jeff Hall and Milt Wagner and Billy Thompson. And when you lose players like that, you can't expect it to be as good. I think because we won the championship, everyone rated us up there, but in reality, we just weren't that good. I don't really feel we have any strong leadership on our squad, and that's been one of our weaknesses.
The NCAA just passed the legislation which will reduce basketball scholarships from 15 to 13. How will this affect your program?
Well, I think it'll have a negative effect on all of basketball. I'm very much opposed to that particular legislation. The 13 scholarship limit, obviously, if they pass that, they can't pass the freshman ineligible rule. Because if you recruited 4 or 5 freshmen on a squad and then you only could have 13, you'd only have 7 or 8 on scholarship for your varsity. So if that rule stays in effect, then they can't pass the other one. And I think the other one would have been a better choice, simply because it gives freshmen a chance to adjust, and they're not under the same pressures. Give them 5 years to complete their 4, and leave it at 15. To cut it to 13, I think, is really a step backward.
Coach, the 45-second rule, the three-point play, your feelings about them?
Well, I was opposed to the three-point play. In fact, I really hadn't talked to hardly any coach coming into the season that was in favor of it. Some of you, I'm sure some of them have probably changed their mind, but to me, what we've done is we've really cheapened our game. We're the only major college sport that I know of, and since I've been following college sports, and that's been all my life, where you change a way to score a game. If you hit a home run in baseball, you still get 1 run. I don't care if you hit it inside the park or you hit it 600 feet, you still get 1 run. If you kick a field goal 10 yards, you get 3 points. If you kick it 60 yards, you still get 3. You know, the shot is so short, the distance is so short, it just cheapens the game. It does not, in my opinion, do what the Rules Committee intended it to do, and they said they intended it to clean up the play on the inside, and that's not happened. And it's such a short shot from the perimeter, it's not worthy of 3 points. It, to me, just cheapens the game.
Okay, but why Tandy Computers? In a word, quality. We do it all, from custom-designed semiconductors to the finished product. Tandy business computers are manufactured in our own USA plants. We test and retest and test again to ensure one of the highest standards of quality in the industry. And Radio Shack provides total service and support. I'm convinced.
Tandy Computers at Radio Shack Computer Centers. In business, for business.
Should you ever drive from Paris to Dakar, we'd suggest a Mitsubishi Montero. Montero's won the Paris to Dakar rally 4 years straight, so it knows the shortcuts. But should you stay closer to home, you can still enjoy Montero's 2.6 liters, the independence of 4-wheel drive, and the crafting of its civilized interior. Because you don't need a road rally to enjoy Montero, just an impulsive imagination. Mitsubishi.
You know, everyone's pretending to be a banker these days. But you won't find a banker in there. No banker in there either. No way. The place you're sure to find a banker is at a full-service bank.
It's the place you can count on for safety, convenience, and working with professionals who have the know-how, training, and continuing education it takes to handle all of your financial needs. After all,
A banker is what makes your bank a bank.
America's full-service banks, where you see this sign.
Nothing makes your day like helping others make it on their own.
You bring out the pride we all feel inside.
It's going to be easy next week.
It's more than just a job you do. You make America work, and this fun's for you.
Good work.
Here's to you, Beechwood Aged, for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
This fun's for you.
Saturday, it's the $175,000 Showboat Invitational on ABC's Professional Bowlers Tour. Then on ABC's Wide World of Sports, the ultimate downhill challenge.
He is going 86 miles an hour down the hill. Mr. Albee won and lost right in the finish.
From Fane Kitzbühel, it's Men's World Cup downhill skiing. Plus, special skating performances by Dorothy Hamill, Scott Hamilton, and more. Breakaway Saturday on ABC Sports.
We're back at Purdue University campus, West Lafayette, Indiana, where the Boilermakers lead at halftime in our first weekend of college basketball here on ABC, 40-38. And a game that could well wear on in a pretty close manner. But there are a lot of things, Dick Vitale, that have... First off, it was not an artistic first half. It was a relatively sloppy first half of play. And secondly, the character of the two teams now, I think, begins to surface. Louisville didn't attempt a single three-point play. Purdue started to really bang in the last 5 or 6 minutes of the first half.
I say amen to that, Keith, about the play on the floor. However, the intensity and the emotion, I think, is superb. Also, I thought Louisville's front court did an excellent job to keep them in the game. Purdue really, as we talked about earlier, has not shot well, but yet here they are leading, and I really believe it's because of all the intangibles, the little things they're doing. We look right here at the field goal percentage. Purdue normally shoots 53% for the year, shooting 40%, and yet they're on the plus side. Louisville shoots 55%, and most teams against Purdue shoot about 41%. Front court scoring, Louisville gets all their scoring from the front court.
Don't you think that right there tells you why their shooting percentage is up? Because the big guys are getting the in-close shot.
Yeah, you know your basketball. Shot selection, take the ball inside, the higher percentage to get in. But you talk about steals, and right now we look at Louisville putting some pressure on Stevens. There's Kevin Walls, little hand check, should have been called. You're not allowed to hand check. There's the denial on a wing. There's the loose ball. Mr. Crook gets on the loose ball, little two-man basketball. Ellison throws it. Great pass by Ellison. And there's Crook. I love Herbert Crook.
But Troy Lewis, on the other hand, remains the leading offensive weapon, I guess you could say, though I'm kind of partial to the guy that handles it out in front. I think Stevens is a terrific player, but Lewis is the man with the golden arm.
They make great music together. They really blend well, and that's why I think they're one of the great backcourts in America, as we saw the perimeter jump shot by Lewis. Now we watch Ellison down inside, turns, but there's Crook with the shot. Now we're going to see Ellison coming off the glass. And there's big purpose. That's a big-time rebound. I'll tell you, Keith, that is a great, quick attack to the ball. He's an outstanding, dominant player. But you talk about Louisville, they're going to have to get some perimeter play. Maybe you and I should dress up and go play in that backcourt.
Nay.
I saw you yesterday handle the ball. You're going to do a bad job. They need really some perimeter play.
You also have one other factor that probably will surface, and that'll have something, I think, to do with manpower, because you have Mel McCants, who's a big guy, 6'10", 225 pounds. You have Jeff Arnold at 6'9", 225 or 30 pounds. You got two big guys that can go inside and bang on Purvis Ellison.
You can give up 10 fouls in the middle. Also a key factor, number 3 on Mr. Ellison. He gets number 4 and goes to the sideline and becomes an assistant coach to Denny Crum. That can really, really hurt Louisville. They got to keep him out of foul trouble. If I were Purdue, I'd take the ball right at Ellison.
Well, Louisville playing probably as well as they can play with their current personnel and trailing just by 2. The Boilermakers at home leading 40-38. Michigan beating Syracuse 91-88 today.
That's the first loss for Syracuse. And we look at Carolina beating Jimmy Valvano's team by 18. J.R. Reed, what a superstar. He's got a body. He makes my all-white body team, Keith, and he play inside.
And Joe giving Temple trouble.
Yeah, Temple, John Chaney, I think, is one of the most underrated coaches. Hey, my former school getting beat by 10. The Titans getting beat by Loyola and Gene Sullivan's team.
And there was an embarrassing loss by the Kentucky Wildcats to LSU today in a game seen here on ABC earlier. 76-41, the Tigers. Back after this commercial and a message from our local station.
No battery has the energy to outrun the Energizer, even in a photo flash.
It's to run, run, run. It's to run, run.
No battery outruns the Energizer.
It's your money, son. But if you want my advice, buy another Subaru.
Sure, Dad.
thought we agreed you'd buy a Subaru.
But, Dad, I did.
See your participating Subaru dealer January 12th through 23rd, and you could win your own Subaru XT.
1, 2, 3, 202, 211. What's that all about? Snoopy's holding tryouts for another MetLife Prompt Payments Quadrant. See, MetLife believes it's really important to pay insurance claims promptly, no matter what the size. That one is for really big checks. Get Met. It pays.
Imagine a country without freedom.
The slavery starts when someone says, no, you can't go here. You stay here forever.
Imagine a country without hope.
Freedom means to me to be free, to share, to do whatever you want to do equally without any line drawn.
Imagine a country called America, starting February 15th.
Wendy's hot stuffed baked potatoes. Delicious baked potatoes, yeah, Wendy's has these. Get one with cheese. Bacon and cheese. Broccoli and cheese. Chili and cheese. Or sour cream and chives. That makes 5. Get them at Wendy's.
Now there's a new taste in town. Wendy's new chili. And it's hot off the range. Thicker, zestier, tastier. Wendy's new chili. Try it today.
Want to know the secret of buying a good used car? Buy a used car from good people. At Dell & Oldsmobile and Lincoln Mercury Mercure, we don't fudge on the mileage or the service record or inflate the price of our used cars. We don't misrepresent a loser as a winner. We want to show you that the real secret to buying a good used car is to deal with good people who don't have any secrets. We can save you money.
Indianapolis poor get help from City Hall. The story at 6.
We're close to starting the second half of play at Mackey Arena. Purdue University with the Boilermakers leading Louisville 40-38. More than 200,000 came to see 15 games last year, and they are on a heady pace in attendance again this season. And today, our game between Louisville and Purdue being brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. And by Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way. Okay, here we go with the second half of play.
First 4 minutes after halftime are really vital, Keith. If you get the momentum and you're the home team like Purdue, they come out and get momentum and get a spurt. They really could take command of this game. It's important for Louisville to keep this crowd out of the game and come out of here with some positive play in the first 4 minutes of the half.
I was flying east the other day. I flew from Los Angeles to St. Louis with John Wooden. John Wooden, of course, is a Purdue graduate, and Coach Denny Crum, the Louisville head man. Next week, we'll be watching Navy. David Robinson and company had 31 last night in Navy's win. And Kentucky, as we told you a few minutes ago, a rather shocking loss to LSU at Lexington. Purdue has the ball to start the second half of play. It is Doug Lee, Everett Stevens, Troy Lewis, Mel McCann, and Todd Mitchell on the court for the Boilermakers, and Stevens hits it. And the Boilermakers lead by 4.
It's important for Stevens to utilize good judgment in shot selection and also in penetration and passing the ball. The last 3 games, he has not used good judgment. That's great judgment.
Ball knocked out of bounds, goes off the hand of Craig Hawley. Hawley thought it was knocked out by a Purdue man, and one of the officials across the way has changed the call, and that's good work by the officials. Louisville has on the court Craig Hawley and Kevin Walls at the guard. Center is Ellison. On the front line, you've got Kimbrough and Crook.
Hawley's a stationary shooter, but they're really getting up tight on him to take away any kind of shot that he may think about taking. They pound it inside. That's where they live.
And Crook is fouled.
That's that's a good matchup. Lee and Crook, that is a good matchup. That is not an NC, no contest. Those guys play each other and neutralize each other, and that's all Katie wants. He wants Lee to be able to neutralize Crook and keep him away from the boards.
Second personal foul on Doug. And Crook will go to the line. Kip Jones, the only Boilermaker with 3. Purvis Ellison has 3 for Louisville, and Crook makes the first free throw. 3 out of 4 from the line.
Crook did such a great job for Louisville winning that national championship last year. But do they miss Milt Wagner and Billy Thompson and Jeff Ball?
A pair at the line for Crook. And 42-40. And Purdue working against the press, gets it into front court without difficulty. Stevens whips it into the corner. Lee wide open.
Created by good ball reversal. They used the diagonal pass to beat the pressure and got the open jump shot. Lee's a good stationary shooter.
Purdue back to a 4-point lead. Ellison inside. Kimbrough missed it. Lewis rebounds it.
He splits the trap. They should have numbers right now. Loaded. Oh, he throws an air ball, an AB.
Crook comes out of there with it.
Try to make him a star, Keith, talking about what a good shooter he is.
Ellison. That's short. And again, it's Lewis in the traffic coming out with the ball.
Lewis doesn't possess good ball speed. Oh, that's a foul by Ellison. That's number 4. That's number 4. They got to get him trying to deny. Not a heady play at all by Purvis Ellison. Trying to play for the steal. He knows he's so valuable to his team. That's just lack of concentration, Keith. Take a look right here. He's going to try to deny, come over the top. He's got an arm around him. He's wrapping around him. There's no doubt. He mugged him. He was like in New York Times Square mugging somebody.
He's on the bench with 4 fouls, and you're right. There was absolutely no question about it. He just spun him out of there. He had a hold of it. And he did it right in front of him.
We talked about it at halftime, how he had to stay on the court. I think you put that score down right now, and you watch a Purdue run.
Called by Denny Crum. Louisville now needs to do some talking, and most of the talking right now is being done to the official. But it wasn't a question of Ellison trying to protect himself or even using an elbow. He simply grabbed the man and spun him away. So time is out on the court. You've got 18:09 to go in the ball game, and Purdue leading 47-40.
Don't just ask for a light beer.
Can I have a light?
Ask them to bring out their best.
Bud Light?
Bud Light. A less filling light beer with the first name and taste. Because everything else is just a light.
Firefly.
Here's Jerry with a new car.
What'd you pay for it?
About $5,500.
Are you kidding?
Does it run on batteries?
What's it made of? Crepe paper?
Does it have a motor? Does it have a motor?
Can I kick the tires?
Will the door come off the hinges?
Hey, guess what? It's a Subaru!
Oh, a Subaru!
Subaru!
Only one inexpensive car is built like a Subaru. Introducing the Subaru Justy. Inexpensive and built to stay that way.
Such a smart boy. Oh.
Excuse me. Can I help you?
I'm not sure. I'm looking for the perfect TV. A 27-inch with black matrix, 110-degree angle of deflection, computer-accurate digital access tuning, 178 channels, built-in stereo decoder, and it's got to have infrared remote control that runs the TV, cable, and VCR, even if they're different brands. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. You want a Magnavox.
The perfect picture, the perfect remote. Nobody puts it together like Magnavox.
Don't just ask for a light beer.
A couple of lights.
Ask them to bring out their best.
Bud Light.
Bud Light. A less filling light beer with the first name and taste. Because everything else
Last call.
is just a light.
It's the ultimate downhill challenge. From Kitzbühel, it's men's World Cup skiing. Plus skating greats Dorothy Hamill and more on ABC's Wide World of Sports. Saturday.
There's a young Boilermaker right right into the flow of things. The Louisville Cardinals have the ball. They trail by 7 to Purdue. Kevin Walls and Craig Harley working out in front. Inside it goes to Herbert Crook, and he gets the basket. Mark McSwain replaced Ellison when Ellison picked up his 4th foul. Crook now has 14 points in the ball game. Ellison goes out with 11 points and 2 rebounds.
That's one of the big baskets for Louisville. Great play by Crook. Oh, they throw right over the top of the defense. Catch Louisville napping, not watching the ball and man, and get an easy layup.
49-42, and still nothing out in front from the 2 guards for the Cardinals. The ball is slapped away, and real fight inside for it. Good feed pass, bounce pass by Hawley, and it rolls off the rim, and it is a melee inside, and Lewis is called for hitting the baseline with his foot.
Oh, they should have had a foul on Kimbrough. No doubt Kimbrough banged Lewis on that rebound.
You could have taken your choice. You could have fouled 4 guys.
Watch this right here. There's the first time. Now he's not satisfied. He's going to hit him again. Watch, he picks it up. Now he's going to push him again. But the referee was concentrating on the foot.
And with 17-15 to go in the ball game, 49-42 Purdue.
Purdue zones on any inbounds from the baseline. Indiana's one of the few teams that plays man-to-man when the ball's thrown in from the baseline.
Walls has still made no effort in this entire ball game to penetrate. This is Kimbrough from well outside, but he pops it through.
Tony Kimbrough's been MIA. He's been missing in action, Keith. And he's got a great body and a great touch. He has not lived up to his billing coming out of Seneca High School, where they labeled him a can't-miss prospect.
He's got 9 points in the ball game now as Purdue comes to the attack. So inside to McCants, and McCants.
He walked. He
walked, but he was fouled, and apparently that came first.
Oh, he definitely lifted his pivot foot. They missed that call. You watch the shuffle when we see the entry. Now you watch McCants, the space eater. He takes space, and now he's going to take a little dance. He thinks he's in the NBA. He definitely took an extra pivot foot to the goal. John Clarkerty missed that one.
Foul is Herbert Crook's 3rd in the ball game. Ellison's on the bench with 4. Crook now has 3. Kip Jones has 3, but he's a non-starter.
Hey, this kid's got a head on his shoulders. When he narrowed his choices to college, Keith, he visited the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, Michigan, and Purdue. And then he decided for trip number 4, Hawaii. Now, he had no chance of going to Hawaii, but he said it was beautiful up there on the island.
Second free throw, back iron, comes out, Doug Lee rebounds it. Boilermakers retain control, leading 50-44.
Kenny Crum's got a tough decision to make. When do you bring Ellison in a game?
Good defensive play by Hawley. Mitchell has it out of the corner. Ball knocked loose off Kimbrough. Purdue keeps it.
I think it's important for Purdue to try and get a real strong run as Ellison's sitting on the sidelines, becoming a member of my all-Pine team and an assistant coach right now. I think Denny would like to keep him out till the 10-minute mark.
They wanted to go to Mitchell on the baseline, couldn't do it. Now they finally get it to Todd.
Oh, she's strong. Arnold Schwarzenegger takes it along the baseline. What a power move, Keith.
He got 16 points now.
My adrenaline, I can't. This is what it's all about.
Hawley out of the corner. He hits one, his 2nd basket of the game.
Scouting report says don't give him the stationary J.
Stevens, short, rebound Hawley. And Craig playing a little harder, a little more obvious here in the 2nd half, and we've got a whistle. And a foul on Purdue.
Gee, Kitty's a little bit concerned. It has to be right now. He can't seem to get his club to put the knockout punch against Denny Crum with the All-American Ellison on the sideline.
That's Doug Lee. Lee now with 3. And he's a man you'd miss if he were gone for any period of time. And what's this? They've taken the ball away. A foul, not a foul, but an infraction called against.
I think he called a 5-second violation. I'm not sure, Keith.
Herbert Crook was there. I don't think Crook knows what the call was either.
See, the new rule in basketball right now, last year you had to get the timeout prior to the count of 4 to try to get a timeout. Right now the new rule is that you can throw the ball in up to the count of 5. By 5, you got a violation.
Purdue, front court, on the attack. And you got a whistle.
clean up the post play right now. It's getting very physical. Everyone thought that with the three-point play, you'd spread the defenses and you'd eliminate a lot of the post play and the physical contact. You can't tell that to McCann's Crook and company. I like this guy as a coach, Keith. He is certainly a Rolls-Royce coach. And you look at his track record at Louisville. He's got great poise.
He's still upset over that last call on the baseline. You don't win that many games, Dick, and have that success unless you are aware.
Yeah, he is definitely aware and has great poise. And his great asset's been his evaluation of talent. And I don't think when you look at Louisville right now, you see Louisville a little down, but they're not going to stay there. They got a kid coming in. Remember this name from Texas, LaBradford Smith, a 6'4" dynamo from Bay City, Texas.
All right, Purdue goes to the press as Kimbrough breaks it and gets into front court. Remember, he played some at guard early on in the season. And cutting inside and missing is Walls, and missing badly, and the ball goes out of bounds. It's Purdue's ball.
I don't mean to be tough on Kevin, but he's playing without any confidence. I really think that his comfort zone might be to be a scorer, and he's trying to do what the coach and the people want, play a structured game and play the point guard, and it's struggle city for Kevin.
Mark Abram comes into the game now, and Craig Hawley goes out. That's a change for Louisville. It's a 56-42 ball game. Purdue leading by 6 and 15 minutes approximately to go in the game. 15 and a few seconds. Doug Lee.
They should go down to Lewis.
Well, it would seem to me a good time to go banging inside.
Yeah, they're not
have the muscle advantage. That's a double dribble. The pressure, and he lost control of the ball and put both hands on it. 10 turnovers now for Louisville.
Sloppy ball play by both clubs right now. People are not really moving well without the ball, becoming too stationary, and it's very easy to guard a player that is not in motion. I can't get over how tough the Big Ten is this year. The Hoosiers, to me, I think they're heading for Bourbon Street. Bobby Knight's club, the General's got a tremendous team. Iowa's Hawkeyes, to me, are the deepest team in America, 1 to 10. You look at Purdue, you throw in Illinois, the Illini are excellent. Michigan beat Syracuse today.
Ball tipped away, and the Cardinals come away with it. Crook.
Oh, what a block!
Slammed against the backboard.
Doesn't shock me at all, Keith. He led Purdue in blocked shots last year. Everett Stevens with 34, which is unheard from a guard. Watch this defensive play. There's Crook. He thinks he's got himself an easy one. He thinks he's taking this to the goal. Mr. Stevens says, forget about it.
Back to live action. This is Kimbrough. And it rolls off. And it is put back up by Walls. And put back up by McSwain. And finally a foul. And it looks like a wrestling match occasionally out there.
I know you like that football action in your Oklahomas and those big games in football, Keith. The weak better not go inside here because they are really banging and crashing and knocking people down.
McCants just got his third foul, and Mel's going to lead the ball game. Kip Jones will come back in.
Look at Mark McSwain working the glass. Big hands, big, strong, and powerful. Number 10.
Purdue now with 4 team fouls as McSwain goes to the line. And he's been a factor for Louisville in the last half a dozen ball games, coming off the bench in the last 5 games, as a matter of fact, to score.
Yeah, he didn't do well when he was starting. Then he went back to the role of bringing him off the bench like last year, and he's been much more productive.
52-47, Purdue by 5, 14-15 to play in the ball game.
Louisville's got some really tough physical people on a baseline.
Kimbrough. And the basket counts.
They're just beating Purdue on a glass right now without Ellison on the floor. They're really attacking the boards. Aggressive play, one of the indicators of aggressive play is offensive rebounding. And right now they are aggressive. Look at Kimbrough.
Kip Jones, that's his 4th personal, and he leaves. And Everett Stevens goes out. Tony Jones comes back in, and Todd Mitchell returns. And Kimbrough will go to the line.
He's from out of Seneca High School and produced one of the class acts in college basketball. Wes Unseld, one of the beautiful people in the game.
Man. Great player.
Here comes the UCLA 2-2-1 press.
52-50 now on that three-point play by Kimbrough, converting the free throw, and Louisville trying to trap on the sidelines, but they've got the man Arnold open in the corner. He's in there replacing Mel McCants. Ball bounced away to Mitchell. Louisville hanging tough with Ellison on the bench, and he's been there now about 5 minutes of 3.5 minutes actually playing time.
Crum's getting a positive effort out of Kimbrough and McSwain with Ellison out.
Lee hit it, three-pointer.
Can't let him shoot it, Keith. The foot on him is he's an excellent stationary shooter. You got to play some perimeter defense.
He's 3 out of 5 outside.
Louisville did not play perimeter defense against Kentucky, and they're not there in that last series.
Lewis, Purdue. His first personal. 5 sophomores and 4 freshmen. The kind of schedule that Louisville has played this year. And occasionally, I guess, in every coach's life, there comes a time when you do have to rebuild. And I'll tell you, he'll have some tough folks who have been well seasoned for next year.
You see the three-point field goal percentage right there, 4 for 9 versus 0 for 0. Tell me the three-point play hasn't been a negative factor for Louisville all year.
55-50 Purdue. Won't go for Kimbrough this time. Arnold rebounds it for the Boilermakers. Here they come.
They got to try to set a screen for Lee. Get the ball to Lee. He's got the hot hand. They got a lot of motion on offense.
Arnold looked like might well be Arnold.
Arnold wants some PT playing time, Keith. He doesn't like sitting next to Gene Cady on the sideline. He said, Melvin McCants, watch out. I'm going to get some QT. Quality time.
That's his first basket.
I get Ellison in quickly. I wouldn't wait much longer.
Keith Williams to Kimbrough. And Kimbrough knocks in a three-pointer. And now it's 57-53. Purdue by 4.
Denny Crum is shocked by that three-point play because they have not utilized it at all. We talked about this year.
Arnold, California. Jones, the baseline, misses. Rebound, cleared out of there by Kimbrough. This is Herbert Crook. And he is fouled by Tony Jones. He almost lost control of the ball, and the crowd expressing itself, feeling that he had in fact turned it over, but no call on it.
Denny Crum is trying to buy time, and with the productive play by some of his inside people, he's been able to buy time to keep Ellison on the sideline.
Spencer is up now, waiting to come into the ball game as Everett Stevens returns after a blow. He's back in fresh.
They're a different team with him on the sideline. He is irreplaceable, Stevens.
Brook makes the first one, will get the second. Purdue now 17 fouls. And Herbert is 5 out of 6 from the free throw line today.
Denny Crum's baseline has to get an A+ for effort. They're really scrapping and clawing, and that's what's keeping them right here in this game.
Timeout. We'll see Big Felton Spencer back in the lineup when we return. 57-55. Purdue by 2 with 11:58 to play.
Here's Jerry with a new car.
What'd you pay for it? About $5,500.
Are you kidding?
Does it run on batteries?
What's it made of? Crepe paper?
Does it have a motor? Does it have a motor? Can I kick the tires?
Will the door come off the hinges?
Hey, guess what? It's a Subaru! Oh, a Subaru!
Subaru! Only one inexpensive car is built like a Subaru. Introducing the Subaru Justy. Inexpensive and built to stay that way.
Such a smart boy. Oh.
A jellyfish swims faster than that.
Not with a clogged nose like this.
Oh, try this.
Sidex, I need help now.
You got it. Hit this when you feel it.
1 second.
With Sinex Vapors, you feel better in 1 second. Plus, it's strong decongestant, keeps you breathing. Breathing free for hours.
And you're gonna need it for hours.
Whoa! Sinex, regular or long-lasting. Feeling better is a second away. From Vicks, of course.
If you just ask for a light beer...
Give me a light.
You never know what you'll get.
What I wanted. Bud Light.
So if you want the less-filling light beer with the first name and taste, ask for Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
The edge in scoring amongst the front court folks still remains to Louisville, but they weren't getting front court scoring. They wouldn't have any scoring at all.
That's where it all comes from. You know, you were talking earlier, you alluded to their schedule. Denny Crum, as we look at him, diagramming a play for Keith Williams, number 3. He believes in playing all the surf and turfers, the best in the business. As you see it, Ellison still sitting on the sideline. I would have gotten Ellison a little bit earlier, but they were able to buy time, and you got to give Denny Crum credit. He's got his club knocking on the door with Ellison on the sideline, but they still have to play Kansas, Syracuse, UCLA, and Jimmy Valvano's North Carolina State. That is unbelievable, and that's why his teams usually peak at the end of the year.
Purdue with a chance to tie now as the Boilermakers bring it up, trailing a leading run, and not a chance to tie, a chance to increase the lead, 57-55. And checking the lineup, who's in there? Arnold stays in at center. So McCants is on the sidelines as Lee puts up one short from outside, and Lee has it slapped away on the pass, and then Melvin Spencer knocks it out of bounds, trying to get the ball to Mark Abram, and he just simply slapped it out of bounds.
Felton Spencer is going to be a very positive player in Louisville basketball. He is going to become, I believe, by his junior year, a dominant force on the inside.
Todd Mitchell quickly to front court with it, leaves it for Lee. Now Stevens.
Keith
Williams is back in at guard for Louisville.
But they're running a 1-4 set now, trying to isolate Stevens for the jumper.
He got his shot. McSwain fields the board for Louisville, and here comes Abram.
He's playing like a man, McSwain.
Bad pass, but they get away with it.
Everything's a scramble on offense.
Everything's an adventure every time they let loose the ball.
Oh, they got to go inside to the big guy. He says, look, get the ball.
Possession.
He's begging for it. Oh, don't kick it back out. Take it to the hole, big fella.
He can't get it to go down, and a foul is called on Jeff Arnold. They waited too long. He had position early on and could have just turned around and slammed it.
It's very important when you're a guard and making that entry. Timing is so essential. You must hit the big guy at the right moment.
Timeout called by Purdue now. And 10:41 to play in the ball game. A 2-point lead for the Boilermakers.
While some still believe you can't take it with you, those who've driven the new Mitsubishi wagon know just the opposite to be true. Now not only can you take it with you, but you can do so with a remarkable combination of style, spacious comfort, and versatility. The new Mitsubishi wagon, patiently crafted so you can take it all with you. Or better yet, so you can leave it all behind. Mitsubishi.
Tonight, this place will be filled. People will be watching movies and not watching what they're eating. Pretty soon, it'll come back to haunt them.
My tummy hurts.
Mine too. That chili dog.
Don't worry, we've got Pepto at home.
Pepto-Bismol. As it coats, it soothes heartburn and upset stomach, as well as diarrhea.
I thought we left the monster back at the movies.
It's only me.
Pepto-Bismol. The one that coats is the only one you need.
Hello, Dallas?
Well, hi, Chicago.
Sounds a little crazy, but we wanted to see if the new fiber optic phone line in the system being built by U.S. Sprint really was so incredibly quiet that you could actually hear a pin drop.
You got it?
Loud and clear. That was a pin?
So call now. Find out more and save with U.S. Sprint, where every fiber optic call sounds like you're right next door.
The Louisville Cardinals took their first national championship in 1980. And who will ever forget the play of Darrell Griffith from that team? Player of the Year and NCAA Tournament MVP. Louisville beat UCLA 59-54 in the title game. And the university retired Darrell Griffith's jersey with highest honors. 57-55, Purdue leads. And Felton Spencer goes to the line for a 1-and-1.
The crowd has really been quiet, not because of the effectiveness of Louisville. That big three-pointer by Kimbrough has been able to let Denny Crum keep Ellison on the sideline waiting for the stretch run.
Stevens now handling the ball outside. This is Mitchell. They look inside to McCants. And McCants got leverage on Spencer and moved him about a yard, and Spencer fouled him. That's his third.
McCants was able to get him on his hip. He posted down in a box. Simply what we mean when you post, you have your back to the basket, down in the boxes. Spencer has to develop a little bit more finesse on how to play post defense and try to deny the entry to the post play.
I think Mel might have taken a little hop, too. Looked like he had a little hop in there. The collision was so pronounced, nobody saw it. Free throw 1 out of 5 from the foul line.
Free throw shooting really very poor right now by both clubs late in here in the game. If he converts this, look for a little pressure out of Purdue's guards. I feel they'll go to some pressure.
Well, they finally get off that 57-55, making a 3-point lead, and it's full court pressure, and they got it. Louisville gets sent with the youngster Spencer handling it, and you got a whistle, and you got a foul called on Spencer in his frustration.
There's Spencer right there, called for the foul along the trapping area. He should have reversed the ball to the inbounds. See, right now, he should dump the ball right back to the guy that threw it to him, McSwain. See, number 10? He's the trail man. He has to be one step. There's the offensive foul with the elbow. See, might have been a little academy, maybe a little Jack Nicholson.
All right, handling it, Stevens. Oilers by and it's too high.
They ran the rear screen, a back screen to free Mitchell. That's the toughest screen to defend. When you run a rear screen, it's very difficult to get communication out of that.
They worked on it a lot yesterday during a 2-hour workout. Here's a blocking foul called on Everett Stevens, so you may have had some acting at the other end. Everett trying his hand at it and gets a flunk. He's called for a foul, blocking foul.
The rule in this, Keith, is we look at the bench there down below. Gene Katie with loads of intensity. What a week facing them. Iowa tomorrow. Thursday, Illinois. It doesn't get easy for the Boilermakers. The rule on defensive positioning, you must have both feet planted on the ground initially.
That's a foul, Kimbrough right there.
Yeah, that is.
So now Louisville, when they start getting down into the crunch of the game, something else that's dogged them all season is to start missing those 1-and-1. Top end of it.
Yeah, not a good shooting team on a free throw line or from the perimeter.
That's the second personal foul on Kimbrough. The Boilermakers bring it in from the baseline.
Louisville only shooting 65% as a team from the free throw line for the season. They're really laying some screens in their motion game here. Oh, good ball movement.
Stevens. 2 points.
You can see that happening, Keith. Excellent ball movement. The key to an offense is ball movement and player movement.
Keith Williams.
Where have you been, Keith Williams? That's the first semblance of any kind of guard scoring attacking play.
On the other hand, you take Mel McCants now, the center for Purdue, as Mitchell scores on a great pass there. McCants has not scored a field goal today.
What a penetration move by Lewis. Look at Katie. He's going bananas on the sideline. He was going wild to get this crowd going.
Williams, and a blocking foul is called on Mel McCants, and that'll be 4 on him.
Gene Katie trying to take charge from the sideline was really trying to rally this crowd to get them going because Louisville hanging the way they are. Look at how he calls him over. He's the general. That's Keith Williams with a little spin move, number 3. He's getting some confidence. Had that quick score. It blows right by Stevens.
All right, Arnold comes back, and McCants goes out. McCants now with 4 personal fouls, and Keith Williams 0 for 2 at the line, stands in looking at 2 shots.
He looks so impressive at the Olympic Festival this year during the summer, and I thought he would be the answer to their point guard play. He got a start early this year, lost his starting job, and has been struggling.
Well, he makes a pair, and it's 62-59 now. 3-point lead for Purdue as we come up on 9 minutes to play.
What Louisville has to be careful for, Keith, is that perimeter 3-point play. They have to play some good perimeter defense, and they did there.
Rolling it off the trap. McSwain boots it out of bounds. Never really had control of it.
They have to really tighten up their perimeter defense because Purdue, if they hit 2 or 3 3-pointers, they can break open the game and take it right away from Louisville, who's trying to steal it here at Purdue, where they're really tough to beat over the last 6 years.
12 turnovers now for the Cardinals. Arnold down toward the corner and a whistle.
How come we don't have a 45 seconds?
How come we don't have a clock? It wasn't working. You've got so many clocks in sports today, and computers and stats and numbers.
Well, yesterday
the timing table's getting bigger than the crowd playing the game.
Yesterday was a controversial play in the Vegas game. As we look at the field goal percentage here for Purdue in the second half, shooting much better than they did in the first half. But in the Vegas-Oklahoma game, there's the 3-pointer. No perimeter defense. Talking about a little bit earlier.
Lewis knocks it down, and the Boilermakers go out to a 6-point lead, 65-59.
That 3-point play will kill you.
Lewis is 2 out of 4. Steals the ball. Stevens. Inside Lewis.
Great judgment by Stevens. Excellent play by the point guard. Heady play. He's got to get Ellison on the floor, Keith. He can't wait any longer. Where is Mr. Ellison?
17 points now for Lewis. 8-point lead Purdue. And thrown away by Kimbrough, intended for McSwain.
They're getting rattled now. They're falling away. The 6th man. The fans have arrived. Denny Crum's got to get Ellison on the floor. They're ready to break this game open.
Stevens brings it up. Lewis cut off by McSwain. McSwain playing his card out. Almost steals it. Walls does steal it. Flips it across. Williams missed it on a foul, and the foul is on Todd Mitchell. And Williams went down hard. Second foul on Mitchell. Keith Williams over there, not sure what town he's in, and over here on the sidelines, everybody else is talking strategy.
Hey, Keith, Walls makes a good play here because he not only makes the save, he has an awareness where his teammate is. He knows that Williams is down the floor. He bats. See, he turned. That was his big mistake offensively, turning to look back at the defensive player.
Yeah, he could hear the hoofbeats of Mitchell, couldn't he?
And here he comes, Ellison. Good move by Crum. Got to get him on the floor now. Either win it with your PTP or your primetime performer, Mr. Ellison, or go home with the L.
On the line, Keith Williams, 2 for 4 there today. And Purdue now leading 67-59 by 8. They need both of these. Louisville does.
They're playing hard, though, and that's exactly part of what I talked about earlier. Professor Crum with his formula of talent plus his L effort equals W usually. Right now, I'm not convinced about the talent, especially in the backcourt. Could be, coming out of high school, a lot of overrated high school stars.
All right, both free throws are good. Purdue hurries into front court. Ellison back in the game. Tries to cut off Lee, but in the process will leave Mitchell wide open, and he slams it home. Points for Todd Mitchell.
What a great play in attacking pressure defense. What a way to finalize it like an exclamation
69-61.
Louisville's got to get something offensively in this possession.
Ellison looking for a man to cut across, and somebody didn't go where he thought they were going, and apparently it was Herbert Crook, because Herbert looks in some disgust at Ellison because they just simply didn't communicate.
That's the way you break the pressure. Post the man up to the middle of the floor and then throw the ball diagonally to the weak side.
16 turnovers by the Cardinals. Lee with the ball for the Boilers.
They ought to go right down at Ellison. He's got 4. They ought to attack him right now inside. There they go.
There they go. Arnold bobbled the ball, though. Gives it back to Lewis. Lee rebounds it.
Hey, is he a Kurt Rambis? He makes my all Kurt Rambis team. Mr. Lee.
He's
what a scrapper.
That's what he is.
Oh, he's a blue-collar guy.
6'5", and he plays like 6'7" or 8.
You love him. I know you love him. I watched you in practice yesterday with him.
Purdue patient, and there's a foul on Herbert Crook.
Free throw shooting is going to become essential now, Keith. They're trying to use some of the 45 seconds, trying for the high percentage shot. Each possession, they want to wear down Louisville a little bit more, and they've got to make their free throws, especially if they want to spread this open and go down the stretch easier.
That's 4 fouls on Crook, 6 team fouls now on Louisville, so Purdue will be in the bonus situation next time the Cardinals foul.
It's going to be really, I'm curious to see how the physical game like this affects them tomorrow night against Iowa.
Oh, Mr. Lee, the way they like to play, though, as Doug Lee hits another one, and he's got 18 points now. Here's your starting unit for Purdue. You say it's one of the better starting units in the country.
The best.
I'll give you, McSwain gets one for the Cardinals, but look at this. The scoring balance here. Lewis is 17, Mitchell 20, Stevens 8, and Lee 18. Only McCants out of the starters have not been productive.
Oh, gee, on fire. Where's the perimeter defense? No perimeter defense, team. They're playing back. He's shooting the wide open jump shot. Mr. Lee is the star of stars here this afternoon.
Ellison with those long arms goes up, gives it to McSwain, and he is fouled by Mitchell. Mitchell was asking for the travel call and didn't get it, and that's 3 on time.
They missed that call. It was definitely a walk-in violation, and Mr. Katie tried to make the call as well.
I thought it was interesting, too, though, that some of the, as you look at this play here now, see whether or not he did.
There's the high-low entry. Now you watch. He leaves his feet, comes back down, touches the ground, drops the ball, definite walk-in violation.
Absolutely. But the officials were talking, are beginning to be heard now, the fact that it's particularly difficult when a person is very close to the three-point line out here. The big bodies are crashing inside, and there are all kinds of things to watch, and yet you got to be aware of the guy's feet.
There's been a number of games where guys have missed that three-point play. North Carolina State, Navy, they beat Navy on a controversial play.
Yesterday, wasn't it?
Yesterday, Oklahoma. Yep. You can't use the monitor, though, like the official tried to determine whether it's a three-point play. You can only use a monitor for a scoring device error and a timing device error.
Purdue to be attacked. Boilermakers leading 74-64. Biggest lead of the ball game. 10 slapped out of there by Ellison.
Ellison said, don't bring that here, Mr. Lee. Shoot your perimeter jump shot. Don't take it in my face.
A 10-point lead for Purdue with 5:20 to play in the ball game.
I want you to put the seatbelts on me because I'm ready to pop out of my seat here. I love when you put big-name schools against each other with some strong players.
They go right to Arnold, who goes right to Ellison and puts it in.
That's an intelligent play because Ellison playing soft right now. He can't foul.
12-point lead for Purdue and a whistle. Inside foul. Jeff Arnold is 4.
He was leaning all over him, just like you said earlier. I thought you made a great point when you talked about Arnold and McCants both beating on Ellison inside. Two rebounds. Not a big day on a front court at all from Ellison in terms of rebounding power.
Makes the first.
Louisville's going to have to apply the knockout punch, Keith, if they're going to make a run for the top 64 teams and win their tournament in Freedom Hall, because If they don't win that tournament, I see a few more losses, and they could head possibly to playing for number 65 in New York, the NIT.
Boilermakers of the ball and an 11-point lead as we move inside. 5 minutes to play in the game, and they're just steadily crunching ahead and taking control of this ball game.
Balance always prevail when you got inside-outside play. There's the outside play.
But Lee is, it's his day, isn't it? He's got 23 points.
No one's stepping out to guard him. Somebody's going to realize he's a pretty good shooter.
From Washington, Illinois, and he slaps it loose into the hands of Stevens.
There's a job. Blocked by Williams. Oh, but what a pass.
What a sequence of play.
Mr. Lee's doing it all today.
Fergus Ellison goes over the top, trying to get to the pass, and he's gone. 5.
Tom Davis and the Iowa Hawkeyes sitting in their rooms, charting and analyzing by saying, yeah, wait till we come in town tomorrow, 16 and zip. Purdue saying, bring on the Hawkeyes. We're ready for them, too.
Ellison fouls out at 4:09 to play in the ball game after having sat out about 8 minutes earlier.
Look at him digging in defensively right here. There's the deflection by Lee, but he's not satisfied. He gets out in the lane. Now watch his awareness. It's a bad pass to him, but what a touch pass to his teammate. But a great defensive play by Keith Williams, number 3. Calm me down, Keith. Tell me to shut up. Calm me down. I'll go bananas here.
Arnold makes the free throw.
I want to know one thing from you. Are the Purdue kids as good as I've been touting them to you?
Well, they're tough. They're really tough. I see a lack of depth.
Yeah, they don't have depth, especially at that point guard position, and that could be a big, big factor. Indiana gets any play out of Dean Garrett, I think they're the team to win the national championship.
Purdue by 15 now, 80-65. They have the game in hand. That's Payne inside. Can't get it to go down. And a whistle and a foul.
Kenny Payne came out of high school as Mr. Mississippi and is an excellent perimeter shooter. For some reason, his shot has disappeared, and he has not become the kind of player they anticipated when they recruited Payne. When they got Payne and Kimbrough, I think a lot of people thought they were on their way to another national run.
Kimbrough's 3rd personal. Kip Jones gets the free throw, makes the first one, so he'll have the second.
Kip Jones gives them a good front court player off the bench, and so does Arnold, but the key is that point guard spot. They have to develop someone to back Stevens up.
Well, Tony Jones apparently is. They hope he's the man. Yeah. All right, Keith Williams, who may be in the future as a point man for the Louisville Cardinals, brings it up. Inside pass to Payne, good. Beautiful play by Crook.
Nice high-low. The one tough thing for Louisville to come back, Keith, they don't utilize the three-point play. They don't have those kind of shooters. It's certainly not Denny Crum's fault, so it's tough to come back when you're behind.
Well, they haven't tried a three-pointer all day, have they?
They tried one. Kimbrough hit one early in the second half.
Jones loses the ball for a moment, but keeps it now as he picks it up. And this is Kip Jones. Time definitely the ally of Purdue. What was their 81-67 lead?
Well, they're using the clock right now. They're running down a lot of the 45-second clock. A well-coached team. Katie, to me, is a star on the coaching horizon.
Mitchell will put it up.
They like the corner. It's a two-point play. He has a tendency to want to play too much on the perimeter and not enough on the inside with his great body.
Stevens blocks the shot by Hawley, and a foul is called on Hawley, I think it is.
Stevens is the best shot-blocking guard in America. Here he is defensively. Now watch him. He had 34 block shots last year. He's the leader practically national. Look at the long arms. He's hand-checking. That's a no-no. The official's got to get his hand off him. And there's the block with the left hand. Most players, think about the guy you used to work with, Russell, the greatest shot blocker of all time, used his left hand. David Robinson uses his left hand because most shooters shoot with their right hand.
That foul, incidentally, was on Payne, not Hawley. So timeout, 2:46 to play. Purdue has it in hand now. 83-67 back after this commercial and the message from our local station.
I've tried it. Now I believe it. Denorex Tingles tells me it's doing more. Head and Shoulders, no tingle.
Both have dandruff medicine, but Denorex adds both an extra anti-itch medicine and conditioner, too.
Goodbye, Head and Shoulders. Hello, Denorex.
If you swallow a cold pill for your stuffed nose, you have to wait for it to travel all through your body before it gets to your nose. But Tristan long-lasting nasal spray gives you fast relief right on the nose.
It's great moments in Disney animation on the Disney Sunday Movie.
This is an undisguised attempt to show you how much Finance Center Federal cares about having you as a member. Instead of charts and graphs showing why we are one of the most successful financial institutions in central Indiana, we decided to show you something you care about more. And maybe you'll begin to see how much we care about you. You've probably never seen a financial institution commercial like this before, but maybe you've never thought of a credit union as a primary financial institution before. Finance Center Federal.
Announcing the Blossom Chevrolet 1987 clearance sale for 4 days only. Thursday, January 15th, Friday, January 16th, Saturday, January 17th, and Monday, January 19th. Because Blossom's simply way overstocked with 1987 inventory. During this special event, every new and used car, truck, and van has been drastically reduced. Also, you can start the new year with a new car at spectacular savings. That's this Thursday, January 15th through Monday, January 19th, the 1987 clearance sale only at Blossom Chevrolet, 1800 North Shadeland.
A winter storm headed our way. Details after the Purdue game.
David Robinson leads the midshipmen against Kentucky on ABC's college basketball next Sunday.
I'll give you 20 seconds to look at that. Well, now, Craig Janoff has spoiled it. He showed you what it was. When they were in tight, it looked like they were in the Malaspina straight 12-footers. Crowd is happy as they look ahead to a week that includes Iowa surely going to be #1, followed by Illinois as the Boilermakers go back to Big Ten play. The Louisville Cardinals, Kenny Payne puts it up, and it is out of bounds off a Cardinal, and Purdue will get the ball back. Louisville's next action will be at home, conference game against Virginia Tech.
You know, a lot of people are probably talking about the physical possible fatigue in Purdue, but if you watch Purdue practice, I'm not sure a practice session isn't tougher than playing a game after we saw them practice yesterday.
They hammered at each other for 2 hours yesterday. Works hard for at least an hour. I mean, physically hard.
Gene Katie said, we're ready to play right now physically, and it's just got to be a mental thing.
Keith Williams from three-point range, not good. Ball saved inside by Crook, given to Payne, and Payne knocks it down. And you've got a minute 55 to play in the game.
Kenny Payne's got a lot of talent. He's got a lot of the physical skills you'd want in an athlete. He's just got to come to the front and prove to Denny Crum that he wants PT playing time by doing it every day in practice.
Jeff Arnold played well today in relief of McCants. Perhaps he may have played offensively at least a little better than McCants, but Mel was banged up with a bad back, and they didn't really want to work him too hard, though he certainly asserted himself defensively, and Louisville now leads 85-69.
The key is he accepts the role as a backup, and that's important in terms of your team effort.
Boilermakers come up with it into the corner, and now they're working around with Troy Lewis handling the ball out in front for a moment.
The best backcourt in America is Jeff Lebo and Kenny Smith. I would then go to the M&M boys, Moulton and Maxwell of Florida. And #3, I have to put this backcourt, Lewis and Stevens. See how they're using the clock?
All alone inside. Arnold bobbled it, had to go to the floor with it. Can't get it to go down, and now he is fouled by Payne.
He's not a quick jumper. He didn't have the acceleration off the floor after the entry, but he did hang with it and did get fouled on a fly.
Well, this business of playing 3 tough teams in 5 days doesn't seem to bother Gene Katie. He made that point yesterday, and he said, where'd I come from? I came from Hutchinson, Kansas, junior college, and we used to have played in some tournaments 4 straight days.
Yeah, and those junior college tournaments down in Hutchinson, they have to do that. Yeah.
All right, now, Katie going to bench as Doug Lee gets a standing O.
He deserves it.
23 points for Doug Lee, and he was 4 out of 7 from the three-point range.
Shelby Metcalf down at Texas A&M must be so unhappy to know he had this kid for 2 years, and he said bye-bye to Texas A&M and transferred to Purdue. There's my old Kurt Rambis team, Mr. Hustle. You love these kind of players, Keith. Doug Lee, Dalrymple, Jeff Moe, Mr. Tenacity, Matt Brust, I love him, and Steve Isle, who comes off the bench for Indiana. They're your kind of players.
I put Muggsy on there.
Little Muggsy Bogues.
Great throw, good by Arnold.
Not a happy-looking Purvis Ellison last year, certainly on cloud 9, winning the national championship. That's part of maturing, though. You have to handle adversity as well as success.
Ryan Burning, number 15, a freshman 6'9", from Lafayette, into the lineup now.
He's making my all-airport team. Looks good at the airport, but never plays. I was teasing him about that. He laughed.
Payne getting that one. Incidentally, that 23 points scored by Doug Lee today is career high. And fighting out of the crowd and getting loose is Tim Fisher, also into the ball game for Purdue. And the whistle stops it as Kenny Payne picks up another personal foul. Now it's a matter of running out the clock with about 20-odd seconds to play. 20 seconds exactly. And it's 86-71, and the last 5 minutes is just an exercise.
It's GT right now, garbage time. You know, last year they had to play LSU over in Baton Rouge, and I think that's a no-no when you got to play a team in the NCAAs on their home floor. They should have wiped that right out. I mean, it's tough enough to be the team in a national tournament. And the year before, they had to go to Memphis State and play Memphis State at Memphis State. Gene Kenny said, hey, we hope that doesn't happen to us again this year.
Well, sometimes you can't avoid it, I guess.
Well, I just think you should simply say you can't do it. Just don't assign a team to a site where a team hosts the tournament.
All right, we're running out the time. It's been another impressive outing. It'll be 14-1 for Purdue overall. 5-0 in the conference as they play 2 key conference games this week. Iowa tomorrow night and Illinois later in the week. There's your final score. 88 Purdue, 71 Louisville.
Now the big question, can the best starting 5 in America, Purdue, beat the deepest team in America, Iowa, tomorrow night? What a showdown that will be.
So Gene Kenny, Denny Crum shake hands and head their respective ways with Purdue winning it. We'll be back in just a moment. They gave him the shot to make it 88-73.
Guess what thousands of doctors are recommending for women who need extra calcium? Tums. Surprised? It's true. Tums isn't just a great antacid. It's also rich in calcium.
Excuse me. Can I help you?
I'm not sure. I'm looking for the perfect TV. A 27-inch with black matrix, 110-degree angle of deflection, computer-accurate digital access tuning, 178 channels, built-in stereo decoder, and it's got to have infrared remote control that runs the TV, cable, and VCR, even if they're different brands. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. You want a Magnavox.
The perfect picture, the perfect remote. Nobody puts it together like Magnavox.
It's your money, son. But if you want my advice, buy another Subaru.
Sure, Dad.
I thought we agreed you'd buy a Subaru.
But, Dad, I did.
See your participating Subaru dealer January 12th through 23rd, and you could win your own Subaru XT.
No battery has the energy to outrun the Energizer.
Well, there's your final score, Purdue winning it to go 14-1, 88-73. Next Sunday at 2 Eastern Time, we'll have Navy and Kentucky. ABC's college basketball has been brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just alike. And by Magnavox, developing new technologies for your entertainment. Nobody puts it together like Magnavox. ABC World News Sunday coming up in just a moment. This